Thank you very much, Senator
I think it's
Capito.
going to take the gavel, right?
My imaginary gavel.
Here
right
it is, here it is.
Well, I'm delighted we're looking at this set of bills today, and we're next going to turn to Senator Kelly to make a statement about recognizing the Protection of Motorsports Act, or RPM, as Senator Capito referred to, of which he is an original co-sponsor. Senator Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And let me start by saying that I appreciate Chairman Carper's willingness to hold a hearing today on the Recognizing the Protection of Motorsports Act, or RPM Act. Racing is a very important thing to many Arizonans, and it's part of our state's legacy. In my hometown of Tucson, Arizona, we have a street called Speedway Boulevard. I don't live more than maybe a half a mile from Speedway. And the name of the street dates back to 1911, before Arizona was a state, when the road hosted the first ever auto race in southern Arizona. And records from the time indicate that the race was so popular that more than half of the population of Tucson attended. Motorsports continue to be an important thing to thousands of amateur racers in Arizona and the more than 100,000 Arizonans who attend motorsports events each and every year, including me. I've often gone down to the NHRA, race outside of Phoenix. But that also includes my wife, who raced motorcycles herself on a track in Arizona when she was in her 20s. And when she was in Congress, my wife, Gabby Giffords, was a part of the House Motorcycle Caucus, and she would regularly ride motorcycles near Patagonia and in southern Arizona. She still owns that motorcycle today, which will turn 50, not her, but the motorcycle, will turn 50 years old this year. The RPM Act will help provide some certainty to Arizona's amateur racers and auto mechanics from EPA regulations, which could harm their ability to enjoy the hobby, And the goal of this bill, and the reason that I support it, is to provide a narrow exemption to Clean Air Act regulations which govern vehicle emissions, to allow those amateur racers to improve the performance of their vehicle without worrying that they are breaking the law. Now, I recognize that this bill needs work in order for it to be included in a committee markup. And I agree that we need to ensure that any amendments to the Clean Air Act preserve EPA's authority to go after bad actors, such as folks who sell and install defeat devices to illegally modify emissions controls on street vehicles. And I know that our staffs have been discussing a potential path forward with EPW committee staff, and I want to say how grateful I am for Chairman Carper's engagement and shared commitment to a path forward. I also want to be sure to acknowledge the leadership of Senator Burr, who has been a champion for this legislation for years, as well as our other co-leads on this bill, Senators Tester, Manchin, Tillis, and Ernst. And I hope this hearing is another step forward toward the goal of finding a compromise where we can provide certainty to the racers, to the mechanics and retailers who are committed to following the law while continuing to reduce emissions from the transportation sector. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.